2 days after moving into my new house, I thought I had found the perfect place to finally breathe quiet street fresh paint on the walls, even the smell of new beginnings. But that illusion shattered fast. The real nightmare wasn't unpacking boxes or dealing with contractors. No, it was standing at my front door, staring at a woman in yoga pants, rhinestone phone case glinting in the sun, demanding my Wi-Fi password like it was her birthright. That moment was the start of a war I never asked for, and one that nearly broke me. She didn't even say hello. No, welcome to the neighborhood, no pie, nothing. Just, what's your Wi-Fi password? I'll just put it in my phone. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but she stared back at me like I denied her oxygen. She crossed her arms, tapped her foot on my doormat, and said, "You do have Wi-Fi, right? It should reach my unit if you don't change the settings." When I refused politely, she huffed, introduced herself as Karen, the vice president of the HOA, and stormed off with a promise I'll be back later. I expect you'll reconsider. The next morning, there was a paper folded under my windshield wiper. At first glance, I thought it was a ticket, but it was a notice stamped with the HOA logo saying residents were expected to share resources to promote harmony. It didn't mention Wi-Fi by name, but I wasn't stupid. This was her message. I tightened my network, renamed it to Not Plus Socials for Karen, and set up basic monitoring. Sure enough, within hours, my router logs lit up with repeated failed attempts. Karen wasn't just bold enough to demand it at my door, she was sitting on her couch trying to brute force her way in. That weekend, she showed up with a clipboard gum-snapping attitude, dripping. "You've made your stance on Wi-Fi clear," she sneered, "but you should know you're not making friends here. Neighbors share. That's how we build community. My son needs internet for school. You think you're clever, but people who don't cooperate don't last long." That wasn't just entitlement, that was a threat. And soon enough, the threats turned into a campaign. My trash cans mysteriously tipped over. Flyers crammed into my mailbox. An HOA inspection citing me for leaving my porch light on too long. Petty stuff, but together it all added up to one clear message: share or suffer. Most people would have caved, but the more she pushed, the more I dug in. And then I had an idea. If she wanted my Wi-Fi so badly, I'd give her exactly what she asked for. Just not in the way she expected. I spent an evening setting up a fake network wide open named Free Community Wi-Fi. Anyone who connected was greeted by slides that read, "Pay your own bills," "Respect boundaries," "Mind your business," followed by endless Rick Astley music videos. The next morning, I saw her kid in the car, tablet frozen frustration all over his face. Moments later, my phone lit up. Karen had connected. She walked right into it. I laughed. Not because I beat her, but because she wrote the script. All I did was hit play. But I knew people like Karen don't quit. They escalate. And she did. Orange violation notices taped to my garage door. Emails demanding immediate compliance. Even city code officers showing up at my door because she reported me for illegal network activity. They looked around, saw my single router shrugged, and admitted they'd been here before. "This neighborhood files more complaints than anywhere else," one of them sighed. "Usually, it's nothing." That should have reassured me, but instead it made me wonder how much power did she really have. Could she actually ruin my life over this? For the first time, I doubted myself. Sitting at my kitchen table, staring at another ridiculous email, I asked myself, what if I just gave her the password? Would it end all this? Would the neighbors stop looking at me like I'd kicked a puppy? Part of me wanted to quit, pack it in, stop fighting. But then I remembered her Lexus, parked in the driveway with brand new tires, remembered her sneering that people who didn't cooperate didn't last long. It wasn't about Wi-Fi, it was about control. And the second I gave in, I'd be her prisoner. That thought lit the fire back under me. So I fought back smarter. I expanded my trap network's VIP neighbor community, Unity Wi-Fi, all fakes. Some even asked for logins. Karen spent hours bouncing between them, desperate. When she finally triggered a fake security breach warning with blaring sirens, neighbors said they saw her run outside screaming about hackers. Her desperation only grew. HOA meetings turned into her personal courtroom, her voice cracking as she waved fake violations in the air. But when I calmly stood up binder in hand and read the actual HOA bylaws out loud, clear as day, stating internet was each homeowner's responsibility, the room turned. Neighbors started nodding. Karen shouted louder, but the more she ranted, the less anyone listened. From there, her stunts spiraled. Flyers labeling me a cybercriminal plastered on mailboxes. Spray paint across my garage spelling selfish. Fake petitions, smear campaigns online, even dragging her son to my door to beg for the password. I refused, but gently offering him homework help instead. When he told her, she exploded in the street screaming while I stood calmly sipping coffee. Someone filmed it. That video spread like wildfire, and for once the neighborhood laughed at her instead of me. But Karen wasn't done. One night, my cameras caught her crouched at my cable box with garden shears. She cut my internet line clean through. The footage was undeniable. When the police showed up, she played the victim clutching her pearls, but the video didn't lie. They warned her, told her next time would mean charges. She didn't take the hint. A few weeks later, in the middle of the night, she showed up again, this time dragging a ladder, trying to physically tap into my line. I called the police as she climbed. They caught her halfway up, kicking and screaming about conspiracies, claiming she was collecting evidence. She was cuffed, hauled away while the entire block watched. Some filmed it. By morning, the clips were everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, even the local news. Karen versus Wi-Fi, the final battle. Kids chalked Wi-Fi symbols outside her house. She went from feared HOA officer to viral joke. The HOA board voted to remove her permanently. The police charged her with trespassing and tampering. Her allies vanished. Neighbors who once kept quiet now openly mocked her. And me, I finally had peace. The fake notices stopped. The smear campaigns disappeared. My Wi-Fi ran steady, untouched. I'd stood my ground and outlasted her. Looking back, I realized it was never about internet. It was about power. About someone who thought the world owed her and the rules didn't apply. And the only way to beat someone like that is to let them destroy themselves. Because Karen demanded I share my Wi-Fi, so I shared something she'll never forget. Lesson: entitlement burns itself out when you refuse to feed it.